I thought it was important to make this based on what we're doing here and why we're here. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you are joining us for the first time, I'm Jessica. This is Life is Our Reality. And we're here exploring life design through deep reality, insights, experience, technology, spirituality, everything that would make up life, the multifaceted nature of spirituality and religion, as well as how tech is emerging with all of this and integrating into our lives. I needed to make this actually as more of an adaptation of understanding. And this is based on learning and what we know. So I'm doing this as more of like an update that will help us all to learn to adapt a little bit better with our tech and with our time and why we're doing this. What is our purpose behind all of this? And it's very easy for all of us to sit here and complain about accessibility and finance and all of the things when really we're all very early. AI is so very exciting and so integral into our lives, right? Like we really are just that much excited, that much invested. We really are open to the possibilities that it has for us. But are we open to the work that it takes? Are we open to our egos dying, our egos going away? Like this really takes away a lot of that egoic mind. I can write. I've got talent. I can sing. I've got talent. I can do all of these things. I can create videos. I can record podcasts. I can do all of these things. Right? That's a huge ego that you might have that is causing you to not even get the benefits of AI, not get the benefits of collaborating with others who share your interest. You're not getting the benefits at all when it comes to learning about new tech because you're too busy bitching about accessibility. Every other post that you make is talking about how terrible Facebook is because there's a couple of broken things every year. Facebook goes through its ups and downs every year. TikTok goes through its ups and downs every year. And instead of you learning about yourself and investing time in even learning new skills and workarounds and life hacks, you're too busy bitching. Now, I've had my share of bitching in the past. I've had my share of being around the wrong people that would bitch all the time. I've had my share of even being talked out of things, discouraged from things that I was getting pretty good at with skills. But then instead of blaming the other people, what I've realized is I personally was not as invested in that if I let others talk me out of it. However, it is not cool to try to talk people out of something. That means you're not on their team. You're not really their friend, right? You really are just talking them out of it because you see they might be really good at something, but then you also are testing, are they really as invested as they seem? It's an ego thing for you to give a shit, for instance, that somebody might write on Medium once a month or more. That's an ego trip. Or that you're blaming somebody for talking you out of writing on Medium, right? That's an ego trip as well. And when egos clash like this, it's not going to be good for business. It's not going to get business moving forward. You can invest into somebody's life and family. You can invest into somebody's household and DoorDash and become a need in their life and actually invest in the location that you're going to be moving to a year ahead of time before you move to it. It's pretty genius, actually. Like you can go get in very comfortable with people, stay at their house, invest the food into their fridge, invest your time, and then magically appear on the next street where you never thought you would live because you know that that's a good place to learn business. You know that that's a good place to have a home. You know that it is affordable. You know that it is better for and safer for you and your family for this pandemic. You may not even remain friends with somebody in your business, but you've invested so much time into them that you've magically, it's not that the magic is automatic, it's that you've actually worked for that magic and you've earned that space because you've invested your blood into somebody, whether somebody takes it in or not. Like, you've invested your blood, sweat, and tears into a space of somebody. And it's not up to you what somebody does with that blood, that sweat, that tears. It's up to you what you do with the space that you've given yourself to put that blood, sweat, and tears. And if you've created a space to put that blood, sweat, and tears, it doesn't matter that they spit out the blood, sweat, and tears that you've given them, because you've created the space for yourself, for your intentions, right? And same goes with technology. If you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, say, Facebook, right, and the comments are broken, as they are, as I've seen, right, you've obviously created space for community. Are you really going to let that ruin your time of commenting and engaging with the people that you've created space with? Like, you're really going to let that ruin your connection with people because Facebook's comment section broke? Or are you going to learn, maybe I can write my comments in Apple Notes if they're that important, or Google Keep on Android if they're that important to me. And then I can learn to copy paste them into the comments on Facebook that may not read the editing of the edit field, but will allow me to drop a pasted comment into the section until these things get fixed, even if it takes a year or two. I can create a pattern that will say, I'm not going to let this little hiccup in life ruin my connections to people on Facebook. You could be ruthless in business and in life and create that space and manipulate the world by your life design, by your connecting with people, by creating a need, by realizing how impatient somebody is. By realizing how much they depend on people, you can then start to offer up your services for them so that they will invest more of their talent into you. If you see that somebody is impatient and waiting on something in the mail, you could instantly provide them that service so that they will invest more time into you. And then you can make that a team effort, earn trust with others, and they could do the same for you. Like, if they see that maybe there's something that you need, some attention, some energy for a while, they will invest that energy into you. And you will take that and you will use that as fuel because of all of the energy that they invest in you, because of all the watch time they give you, because of all the listenership on your podcast that they might give you. Everybody is useful for something, even if you decide that they don't align with your life. Everybody has some kind of value in the world. We all have a purpose in life, and to tell each other we don't have a purpose is not true at all. Even if it means that somebody is teaching you a lesson, they may not be in your life forever, but they're teaching you a lesson. And I've learned that just by reading the Facebook comments, just by learning who complains and who doesn't, just by seeing you guys put more time and energy into complaining than actually learning new skills. Like, I have things that I really don't like. I don't like that ChatGPT is teaching me about AI, and then it's limiting me on server space, right? Like, I don't like that. Like, there's things, AI and technology is not perfect, guys. Like, I mean, newsflash. I personally am so invested heart and soul into all of this, but there are things I may not like. And I'm not going to pretend, I'm not sitting there trying to pretend otherwise. I'm not tone deaf to some of the problems that we might have. I'm not tone deaf to some of the deep fakes in our comment sections, or the AI celebrities in our comment sections, or the spam or stalkers, or any of this bullshit when people have no lives, or when the technology is so new that we're learning how the new algorithms work, what they allow us to do, how AI content is created, how AI can go into comment sections and reply. It's fun learning about that on X and Facebook and all of that. And all of these other things. Like, I'm not tone deaf to that. I'm also not tone deaf to the fact that I have intentions of productivity. I have intentions of living a more aligned life. I have intentions of learning how time works. Not what I think about time, not what I think about routines, how time actually works. The inner workings of time itself, the inner workings of Parkinson's law, the inner workings of how I can be more intentional. I'm learning that through being open-minded to time blocking, but also being open-minded to the fact that it may not work. Learning for my own self, not necessarily because I'm good at like getting sponsorships. I don't really care about that. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in signing up for other people's sponsorships and working with them directly myself, and then learning what feedback I can give and how I can help. But I'm not necessarily going to go out and be interested in being somebody who gets sponsorships themselves. Because honestly, my job in this business is to test out the accessibility, to test out apps, to give feedback, to beta test, to offer my space for people so that they can put their app in front of me and I can learn it and learn how it affects and integrates with my life, and learn how, even if it doesn't work for me, how can this app better help others on a one-on-one or small group level. I'm not really interested in trying to go out and find sponsorships. I'm more or less interested in other people who have found the sponsorships for me, created the content around those sponsorships, put the links out there for me to support their channel, etc., and then going out and integrating that into what could work for me or what could work for my community. And some of that might mean giving you guys things you might have to actually pay for, or giving you guys things you might actually have to put time into. And if that's not something you're interested in, then that's not something you're interested in. But instead of complaining about Facebook, you could actually be working towards something. You could actually be doing the work that I do, or learning a skill, or learning how to give feedback, how to get paid to actually give proper feedback on integrations, on technology the way that I do. A very flexible way and a very adaptable way, a way that even includes time to focus on other things, time to go all in, work-life balance if you want, go all in on work if you want, vacation if you want, all this kind of stuff, while realizing that finding a connection to the fact that you are secure in that you don't need to flex your credit card either, and you don't need to necessarily be rich, but just the overall earning alone will be enough for you to maintain your adult life and to integrate with the systems you have put in place for yourself or your family. So I really want to just get you to think differently for once about these things. And if you see others in our community that are complaining a lot, you might want to think about, do you sound like them? Do you sound as whiny as they do? Because honestly, I understand the frustrations all day long, to the point where I've spent hours learning something through my phone and took a week, a month, a year off of that thing so then I can pick it up and relearn it again. I know exactly how you feel. Except instead of going out and actually posting some useless complaint about it to post on Facebook just to bitch, just to get others in my squad so we could all whine together. I don't have enough cheese that I'm willing to share to go with wine, because I no longer drink wine. So I'm not going to be doing that. What I've chosen to do instead, and what I recommend for all of you who really want to feel better in life and who want to be less stressed, because all this is stressful. And when you complain, it makes you, does it really make you feel good to complain? Think about that. It makes you stressed. It makes you antsy. It makes you honestly look like somebody who is too disabled to have a job. It makes our community look really, really unemployable when you do this shit. It makes our community look extremely like, you want to know why the unemployment rate is so bad. You want to know why. There's lots of different systemic reasons, but honestly, we're making ourselves look more systemic the more that we bitch and complain, because we're not willing to learn the skills. We just think that people should feel sorry for us. We just think that we're entitled to sit around and wait for people to bring us food, and we're entitled to sit around and wait for people to invite us to go out to a restaurant and order us drinks and all this other bullshit, when frankly, like, that's going to end one day. And that's a real drain to those other people, to sit around and take care of you, and to sit around and watch you complain all day and watch you be so miserable because you didn't ask to be disabled. Well, you know what? Nobody asked for us to be here and sit around and do nothing either. Nobody asked us to make their life harder. Instead of like bitching to your parent that it's 11 o'clock at night and you need to take my friends home, how about you have some money and get an Uber and send them home? Or how about you just find another way to hang out with them that doesn't involve your parents for a change? Like, this shit is just making people look like babies. And it has to be said, because we're never going to get out of this system if we don't do something. And we could all be sticking together and helping each other if we just stopped complaining and stopped ranting so much and stopped with the I'm better than you bullshit because I live a different life and I've chosen a different path than you bullshit. And the reason why this sounds contradictory is because some of us let life happen to us while others are very much more proactive to life. But you're too busy complaining all this time to see those of us that are more proactive to life. You know how much I've gotten judged in the past for living the life that I've lived, for having struggle and adversity and all this kind of bullshit. Do you have any idea what it took to get out of the embarrassment of having multi-generational household, of being in a clubhouse room knowing that I have a multi-generational household, knowing things are overheard, knowing that people know that I'm in a multi-generational household, knowing that I let life happen to me? You know what judgment I got for that? All those drunken nights I was on a clubhouse stream, a dabble stream, pilled out and all the shit because I let life happen to me. And all the embarrassment of things I don't remember doing or saying, and how I had to get over that shit and realize that the bigger purpose is my family. The bigger purpose is how it affects my life, my overall well-being. And it has nothing to do with you guys. It has nothing to do with being one of you. You know what it takes to get out of a complain mindset? I don't want you here if this is not what you want. Like, unsubscribe, close the app, go to another channel. You know, in fact, just like get out of my algorithm if you don't want to change. Because honestly, I don't need numbers to go up. I don't need to be involved in groups that don't connect with what I'm doing. If I'm not relevant to the group, I don't need to be there. But you can remove me. Like, I don't have the energy to get mad and start drama and post, why is so-and-so removing this and that? Like what I've seen other people do if something doesn't work out. And I'm fine with the fact that I might be wrong in your eyes, like in any of you's eyes. I'm fine with the fact that I might be different. I'm fine with the fact that I might piss some people off. Like, I really don't care anymore. I just don't want to take up space in anybody's life that I'm not relevant to. If I'm not relevant to you, like, you don't need to be watching me. If I'm not 100% in your corner and I'm not 100% understanding of who you are or what you're doing, and I don't know everything and I'm judging you too much, I don't need to be in your life, and you deserve somebody better, a better YouTube channel, a better podcast, a better friend, a better group participant, a better audience member, whatever it is. I don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, when you stop complaining and actually start doing something to create something within your life without being attached to having flashy results the way that I used to. When I was investing in space through partnership in business, creativity wise, and invested time and space into somebody's life, into their house, into doing their dishes, all of that bullshit, right? I was happy to put in the time because I knew that it was moving something in life. But what I got wrong is that it wasn't exactly moving the person. It wasn't making an impact to actually move the person off their ass. It was making an impact on my own life. And by giving to somebody, I felt good. It had nothing to do with them. I put my attachments into results, thinking that they were going to change because of me. Nobody is going to change because of you. They are going to change because their life is affected. They are going to change because something bad happened to them. They are going to change because they see the benefits for themselves. It's not going to have anything to do with you, even if you're in a marriage. Even if you're in a marriage, they're going to have to feel it within themselves. If anything needs to grow up, like if anybody needs to grow up. And that's how you keep a relationship together. I know a lot of you are struggling with that. There's some people that your relationships are kind of like ebbing and flowing and transitioning and ending abruptly and all this. And that's because you're attaching change to the fact that you can make somebody change, and you really can't make anybody change. And that's what you have to let go of if you want a marriage that will last for life, or if you want a partnership to last for life, or a job to last for life, or business to last for life, a parent-child relationship, a family relationship, a friendship, whatever it is that you want. Stop attaching the fact that change is going to come because you made somebody change. No, it is going to come because of cause and effect and life happening to somebody. If you can hit on somebody's impatience for a SIM card and they can't wait on that SIM card, and they'll take your SIM card, and that's a way for their life to be affected by being impatient and waiting on people, that's cause and effect. That has nothing to do with changing for you. That is because you've caused them to learn that depending on other people for a phone service is not them taking care of themselves. And then when you suddenly get mad and you turn their phone off because they've been a whiny little brat, or they've been really mean and not appreciative, and they've just kind of been entitled towards you, that is not because of you. That is because their life hasn't been affected. And you cannot make their life affected. You cannot make a friend change. You cannot make somebody do business with you who doesn't care about making money. You just can't do it. You can't hire somebody who doesn't care about getting paid. And you can't get yourself hired towards somebody who doesn't care about paying you. I've tried it on both sides with different people, because I'm the type of person who tries to really adapt. If I think I can hire someone, I will hire someone. If I think I can offer my services for pay, I will try that. On the same person, by the way, on the same people. There's been multiple people. And then if that doesn't work and it's more of a friendship, cool. Sometimes life is a lot more fun when you let go of the money side and the business side, but it's better for people to be straight up honest with you on that front instead of just like, but see, the problem is they're not going to be honest with you. They're going to be honest with themselves, and that's going to show. If somebody's not honest with themselves, you are going to you're going to feel misled. You're going to feel misled. If somebody's not honest with themselves, you're going to blame them and say, well, you weren't honest with me. No, that's not it. It's not the fact that they were dishonest with you. It's the fact that they are not self-aware. They do not know what they want out of life. That has nothing to do with you. None of this really relates to you in the first place. It's all life and how people deal with it. And that's what's affecting your relationships. How are the people on your team or in your partnership or in your group, how are they reacting to their life? How are they reacting to life in general? How are they adapting to what y'all are doing? What are they doing themselves? And if the answer is they're not adapting, they're not changing, they're just whining every step of the way, they're complaining about accessibility, it doesn't mean you have the energy to like block everybody. It doesn't mean you have the energy to leave a bunch of groups. It doesn't mean you have the energy to go and state every reason. You may not even want to put in the time to do all that. You may not even want to unfriend everybody because why? Like that takes time and energy as well, believe it or not. Some people you might need to cut out, especially if they are trying to take your life because they can't get a life of their own. You might need to block and get rid of some people. You might have just enough energy to do that with a couple of people. But not everybody's perfect, and we're all still learning at the same point. So if that's not the case, you learn to just ignore it. You learn to scroll past. And you learn to offer your services only where they're wanted. You don't force your services onto people who are not going to need your services. Like, you're not valuable to every single person in the world. That's one thing I'm having to learn about business. And I'm very happy about that. I'm a lot happier knowing I don't have to be valuable to everyone. I just have to be valuable to people that find value in me. You know how freeing that is for mental health to understand that? You do not have to be valuable to everyone in life. Only the people that need you. There's so many mental health issues around. I want to be the best in the entire world. I want to be the most valued. When really, you don't even have to be the most valued. You just have to be understood. You just have to be around people that understand you. And if people don't need you, they might still understand you. So that's not even connected. It's just more about realizing that, for example, if you value, I'm going to take a drink of water to hydrate here. If you value water, you're going to hydrate yourself. If you value food, you're going to eat. But you're not going to value every kind of water or every kind of food in the entire world. That doesn't mean that sushi is not valuable at all. Sushi can be very valuable to me at a certain time where I'm hungry and I want something refreshing. It may not be valuable to someone who just does not like sushi, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable at all, right? For example, and I'm using sushi because that's a niche food. That's a food that fits a certain person's taste. It fits a certain taste. It doesn't even have to be a certain type of person or a stereotype or anything like that. It just fits a certain taste. If your texture is, you have a certain texture preference and you don't prefer rice as your texture, but you might prefer bread as your texture, then for you, a sandwich might be more valuable than a pack of sushi, right? For me, a sandwich is no longer valuable at all. A salad is going to be more valuable for me and my family. We just enjoy salad a lot more now. Sandwiches, we don't tend to find value in all of the time. And then some things we might find value in some of the time or in some places. Once in a while, a sandwich might be valuable, but not all the time. That doesn't mean a sandwich is not valuable in the world. There are people that value sandwiches every day because they got to eat. We all got to eat. And so our values adapt to our needs, not necessarily that our needs mean all or nothing. Our needs are not all or nothing necessarily. Our needs are multifaceted. Our needs can change at any point. But also, if you find that your needs intertwine with another or with a group, and you're consistent on that front and you can adapt together, that's really it. If you cannot adapt with a person or a partnership or a business or a group or a relationship, a family, if your family cannot adapt well to changes, you're around the wrong people then. It doesn't matter if they're your parents, they're your bloodline. It doesn't matter if they are your friends. It doesn't matter if they are your spouse or anything like that. I'm very, very blessed that my spouse and I have learned to adapt together in life. I'm very, very blessed that we are team players, that he is definitely a team player who adapts in life and who's had to learn to adapt in life by the utter strength of what he's went through, by the utter strength of what I went through. But not every marriage needs to be a marriage, because not every team can adapt together with each other, but they could adapt better on their own. And I've had to learn that as well through life experience and family, growing up and whatnot, that some families are better alone and are better, and they can adapt better by themselves, while other families are better together. It's not an all or nothing system. This is a multifaceted world, really. And it's not something you have to agree with me on, but if you really observe your life, there are way too many lifestyle choices nowadays that I think is a good thing, because it actually means, it seems overwhelming at first, but it actually kind of means that we have a choice of what we're doing in life instead of just doing something because it's proper. And I think that kills some people who can't stand other people's lifestyles. Like, some people can't stand the fact that you're single, and some people can't stand the fact that I'm married, because what it means is we have choices in life. We're not just doing some kind of group activity. We're not just getting married and having kids because we have to anymore. We're doing it because we actually want to. We want to have a team like that. Or we're not just staying single and alone because we have to anymore. We're staying single and alone because we want to. And we find that to be more of a life for us. So just some things to think about. And I really just felt like making this episode was a good update to insights. And I hope that this finds you understood. Thanks so much for listening. Take care of yourself, take care of your life, take care of each other. Thanks for tuning in.